You are not here by accident. Something deep within you, a calling, a frequency, an invisible pull led you to this message at precisely this moment. And when you finish listening, you will finally understand why. There are times when we feel small, insignificant, as if our role in this vast world is limited or invisible. Yet there are also moments, unexpected and unexplainable, when life begins to reveal something far greater. You begin to sense that your presence, your very existence, is fulfilling a purpose far deeper than what your conscious mind could ever imagine. This isn't about ego. It's something that emerges from the soul. Carl Jung once said that true self-realization begins when a person aligns with a purpose greater than themselves. And whether or not you can describe it, you are already living that process. You may not fully understand what's happening yet, but something inside you already knows. If this truth resonates within you, leave a comment below telling me what part of your story you are ready to reclaim. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because this journey back to your essence is only just beginning. Let's start with the most undeniable sign. People open up to you as if they've known you for a long time. Strangers, friends, even those who barely speak to others, they come to you and suddenly begin to share things they've carried for years in silence. You don't ask for it. You don't chase it, but it happens. And they don't come to you because of your academic knowledge or external achievements. They come because of the way you make them feel. Your presence has a way of making people feel seen, heard, and deeply understood. Sometimes you don't even need to say a word. Your simple presence is enough, and in that presence, something shifts. They relax. They breathe easier. The tension they carried melts, and though they don't always know why, you feel a strange and peaceful calm, as if you've always known what others need, even before they do. This ability didn't come from books or structured training. It came from something much deeper. You've been cultivating a certain kind of energy, a vibration that doesn't instruct, but allows. You never announced yourself as a healer, yet the souls around you recognize it, even if they don't understand it. You're not playing a higher role in the traditional sense. You're fulfilling something sacred. You're learning how to accompany others without taking control, to hold space without judgment. And that is rare. The way others open up to you is not a coincidence. It's a reflection of something deeper inside of you. Your soul has begun to emit a frequency that others feel. It's as if beyond the physical, you carry a message written into your being that doesn't need to be spoken. It's not what you say. It's what you radiate. You just know that when someone is with you, they soften. They surrender. They start to breathe in a new way. And instead of feeling burdened, you remain grounded and still. You just hold space, a space that feels safe, real, and clear. There comes a moment in your journey when you realize something remarkable. Many of the decisions you once believed were impulsive or irrational were, in truth, directed by a force far greater than your own logic. You look back and notice how certain steps you took, ones that seemed reckless or inexplicable at the time, were, in fact, divinely aligned. Moments of departure you couldn't explain. Choices that defied common sense. All of them now, through the lens of your soul, begin to make perfect sense. Every move, no matter how uncertain or painful, placed you exactly where you needed to be. And it wasn't your conscious mind that orchestrated it. It was your frequency, your vibration, responding to an invisible signal, a pull that had no blueprint, no guarantees, just direction. Carl Jung spoke of the self, that higher part of us that guides our life's deepest movements, often beyond the grasp of our ego. And now you're beginning to distinguish the subtle yet powerful difference between when it was your ego making the decisions and when it was your soul leading the way. With this awareness comes a profound realization. You're not here by coincidence. You've walked through the fire. You've endured loss and heartbreak not as random events, but as sacred initiations. Every fracture you experienced, every empty space you learned to sit in, every unexpected change was constructing something within you. A vast, silent space inside that has become your greatest strength. What once felt like breaking was actually shaping you. What once felt like abandonment was actually a return to yourself. You no longer see your hardships as failures. You see them as preparation, as quiet, divine training. You no longer ask, why me? Because now you understand it had to be you. Your energy had to learn how to stand alone so that one day you could hold space for others. Everything that once appeared to be chaos now reveals itself as part of a divine order. It's as if life was secretly guiding you toward a higher role, one far beyond what your rational mind could conceive. A role that requires no certificates, no applause, only the courage to survive yourself. The recognition that comes with this isn't pride. It's humility. You know this was never your plan. Your mind didn't lead the way. You were led. You were emptied of what you thought you needed, so you could carry only what was essential. You had to become light enough to hold the weight of your own truth. You now see that the places where it hurt the most were the ones that taught you how to hold yourself from within. The connections that fell apart taught you not to cling. The sacrifices you made without knowing why were acts of deep, invisible loyalty to a purpose that hadn't yet been revealed. And now, when someone asks how you made it through, you don't have a straight answer because you didn't know you were making it through. You just followed something inside you that refused to settle. Jung once said, "What is not made conscious will be lived as fate." And now you're making that fate conscious. You're realizing that your role was never small. It was simply waiting for you to be quiet enough inside to hear it. This awareness blooming within you doesn't need outside approval. You no longer seek validation or crave understanding. You've learned to trust the feeling inside that says, this is right even if no one else understands it. That certainty doesn't come from reason. It comes from resonance, from the vibration you've refined through every storm and loss. While the world around you crumbled, something deeper was forming. Something that today you recognize not as an achievement, but as a sacred responsibility. You no longer see yourself as someone just trying to make sense of life. You now know you're here to hold a frequency that not everyone can hold. You chose to feel deeply when numbing would have been safer, and that invisible choice made all the difference. That's what made you a vessel, a channel, a mirror, a grounding presence. You've started to notice that when you're present, things align around you. Your energy carries coherence. When you speak, it's the voice of someone who remembers. Jung also said that when the soul aligns with its deepest center, it begins to operate from a place the mind cannot dominate. And you've arrived there, that place where your energy does more than your words. where your story becomes medicine, even if it's never told. Your mere presence reorders the room, uplifts others, and transmits a truth that needs no explanation. You know it without knowing how. You know it because you feel it. You see it reflected in the eyes of those who come near. That is the role you're now fulfilling. Not one measured by status or metrics, but by the authenticity with which you occupy your inner space. You are occupying it now like never before. No masks, no fragments. Just you as a pure channel for something far greater than yourself. Your sensitivity is no longer just a trait. It has become your most accurate compass. You've noticed that you perceive before you understand, that you feel before you define. You no longer need anyone else to validate your perception because you've learned to trust that. Sensitivity as an essential part of the higher role you're beginning to fulfill. Jung said that those who haven't explored their own depths can hardly accompany another into theirs. And you've descended into your own depths many times. You've withstood storms without anyone knowing. That's why now when someone shatters in front of you, you're not afraid because you recognize that place. You've been there. Your sensitivity allows you to read between the lines, to perceive what isn't being said. And this way of being quiet, respectful, profound is part of the higher role you now embody. Your sensitivity doesn't separate you. It connects you. It doesn't make you weaker. It makes you more precise. That sensitivity you once tried to hide has now become your most sacred treasure, because you've realized you can hold what others aren't yet ready to face. You've started to notice that you don't fit into any fixed structure because your energy came to support a space that didn't exist before. You're not here to fit in. You're here to open a new space. And while for a long time that made you feel out of place, now you understand. You didn't come to adapt, you came to embody something different. And because of that, others are beginning to arrive. Not because you call them, but because they feel in you a different way of being, one that doesn't impose, doesn't demand, doesn't judge. You teach through how you are, through how you choose, through the way you protect your energy, not as defense, but as integrity, through the way you say no without hurting, through the way you choose calm. And in that quiet, firm, unique style, you're showing that there is another way. Your energy is no longer just a trait. It's a form of leadership. You've learned to turn that subtlety into a channel, a compass, a medicine. You've made a decision to no longer betray yourself. And from that moment on, every one of your choices became an act of service. Every silence you keep is a sacred act. You've stopped moving forward for validation. Now you move forward out of coherence, out of alignment. You no longer walk to be seen. Walking for you is enough, because now you understand that your true role is not something that needs to be named. It's something that is lived. You don't need to know exactly what you're doing anymore because your whole being already knows. And once you feel that knowing, you can't unfeel it. You're not who you once were. You are exactly where you're meant to be, embodying a higher role than your mind ever imagined, but one your soul always recognized. Your way of seeing, of choosing, of holding space, that is the message. That is the path. A path others didn't even know existed until you made it inhabitable. And you never had to explain it for it to work. If this message resonated with you, If something deep within you was ignited without needing words, I invite you to subscribe. Keep showing up in this space, a space where consciousness sees itself clearly without masks. Your story matters, and your willingness to live your truth creates a wave of awakening for everyone around you. You don't need to be seen from above to be fulfilling a high role. You just need to be where truth isn't compromised, where your energy isn't masked. Your transformation is already underway. Now, take a moment. Breathe deep. What is the one truth you are ready to stop denying today? Let me know in the comments below. Let your commitment inspire the collective. Don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who needs this gentle but powerful push. Remember, you were the one you were waiting for all along. I'll see you in the next video, where we continue the journey back to the sacred core of the self.